Good afternoon, folks. Welcome back to the channel. It's a muddy, cold mess outside, soon to be frozen mess outside. So we didn't want to be out in it. So tonight we are going to make one of my latest go-to meals. I can't get through town without stopping and get some of this at our favorite Chinese restaurant. It's Singapore rice noodles. So if you don't know what that is, stick around and we'll make it for you. Now, Singapore rice noodles is originally a Cantonese dish, and it's a very popular takeout item and street food in Hong Kong. I've never been there, but I'm glad I found the noodles. The restaurant we used to go to out in California had these little thin noodles for their chow mein. It was the, if you watched our food tour video out in California, it was at the Phoenix Noodle House. And there they call it chow mein, and that's a Vietnamese restaurant. And it's a rice noodle. Now, in a Chinese restaurant, they don't use that noodle for their chow mein or their lo mein. They'll use like a wheat-based noodle. But they do have these rice noodles, and they serve them in different ways. So I was looking for this dish, and at our Chinese restaurant here locally in Nebraska, it's not on the menu. But I inquired, and they said, oh yes, we can make the Singapore rice noodle. And I said, that's the little thin noodle, right? And she said, yes. So I had that. So we're going to have to discuss something, though, early on before we get this going, because it comes together early or quickly, and we need to talk about something. So in this dish is curry powder. And I know some of you are like, curry powder? Well, you lost me. Hanging up, not watching. Don't do that. Stick around. I'm one of those people too. As soon as you say curry powder, I switch off and I don't want to hear nothing more about that dish. But when I first ordered this dish, she told me it's got curry powder in it. And I said, can you leave the curry powder out? She says, oh yeah. And well, I had the dish. So it wasn't spicy enough for me. So I asked them to put a little spice in it, and they did. And she said, you sure you don't want the curry? Because it's really good. I said, well, can I taste it? Because later on in life, now I'm aware that there's more than one type of curry. A curry isn't one single dish. There's many, many different kinds of curry in the Indian culture. A curry is a type of dish and not a flavor. There can be many different flavors. So she brought me out a taste of this curry powder. I'm like, wow, that's unlike any curry powder I've ever tasted in my life. And it's really good. So the next time I ordered it with the curry powder, and wow, let me tell you, that really set the dish off, and now I understand why they put it in there. So let me show you what curry powder we're using. Brought the jar out from the kitchen and showed me the curry powder that they use. And this is what it is. It's called a Madras curry powder. Fantastic, beautiful flavor. I'm going to start using this in my fried rice when I make it. It's a wonderful flavor. Unlike this stuff you get at the store, which I have an aversion to for some reason. I just don't like it. Now, I took a picture of that bottle and I found it on Amazon and purchased it on Amazon. And if you're interested in that curry powder, I'll put the Amazon link in the description of this video. So now that we've had the curry powder discussion, let's go get the dish going, because I know I don't like a lot of jabbering in YouTube videos either. All right, let's go through the ingredients. Whenever I'm making like fried rice or like fried noodles or something like that, I like to have all my ingredients out because, like I said, it comes together very quickly. So we have some vegetable oil that we've already put in the skillet, 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil. And then we have our 2 eggs that we're going to need. Those are going to end up being scrambled and then chopped into pieces. We'll show you how to do that. We have a pound of shrimp. You can use several different meats if you like. The dish that I ordered downtown has shrimp, pork, and chicken in it. We have 5 ounces of dry rice noodles that we've soaked. You want to do that an hour before you're ready to cook. I just throw them in a Ziploc bag and then fill it about half full of hot tap water. Let it sit for an hour, then drain it, and you're ready to go. We have some cooking wine. You can use Chinese cooking wine if you have it, but dry sherry works just fine, cooking sherry. We have a soy sauce. We have chicken stock. We have 2 cloves worth of crushed garlic. We have a half a pound of coleslaw mix, which has the cabbage and the carrots in it. If you can't get that, just chop up a half a pound of cabbage and throw about a medium carrot in it, julienned up. Vegetable oil. You can see our vegetable oil is kind of dark because I reclaim it, and you can do that after you fry foods. All it does is add flavor to your oil. Just strain it out and put it back in your container. We got some sesame oil. We got 1 green onion that I've chopped into 3 pieces and then cut long ways. We've got some long strips of red onion, a half an onion worth. Now our dry spices, we have a half a teaspoon of our red pepper that we use, the stuff that Kelly buys. We have 2 tablespoons of our curry powder that we were talking about. We have 1 teaspoon of salt. We have a 1/4 teaspoon of sugar, 1/8 of a teaspoon of pepper. Now if you got white pepper, it's probably preferred in this dish, but we just use the black pepper. So there's your ingredients, folks. Have them on hand ready to go. We're using our big wok skillet. So first thing we're going to do is heat this up, and then we're going to crack our 2 eggs in it. Our eggs are going to cook, and then we're going to pull our eggs out. So in our 1 tablespoon of oil, or vegetable oil, we got 2 eggs in here. We just kind of break them up, stir them around until they're cooked through. Cut them into little pieces. You don't want big pieces of egg. You remember our fried rice video, we did the same thing with our fried rice. So now that these are cooked, we're going to take them out of the skillet, and we're just going to dump it in this bowl right here. So in our skillet, we put another 1.5 tablespoons of our vegetable oil. To that, we're going to add our garlic. We're going to flavor that oil with that garlic. And that's only going to take about 15 seconds or so. And we're ready to go. And then we're going to throw in our pound of shrimp. Also keep that garlic from burning, that cold shrimp going in the pot. So we're still on high. We're going to stay on high. So you want to use like your big burner, because you want this stuff to cook without cooling off too much. These old stoves don't have very big burners, so we'll let that cook a little bit. Once this comes back up to heat, we're going to add about 1 tablespoon of our wine. That's going to help that shrimp steam in that liquid. And remember, when you're cooking shrimp, once they turn pink, they're done. But these are going to continue to cook as we go, so we don't have to wait till these shrimp are all the way done. I just want to wait until we regain some of the heat in this pot, and then we'll continue on. So now that we've got the heat back, we're going to add our cabbage and carrot mix. Then heat the pot back up again. You'll start sweating out our cabbage. We'll come back when this is all heated up. You can see our mixture is back up to a simmer. So at this point, we're going to add all of our rice noodles. Noodles are in the pan. The noodles are cold, so we'll give the noodles a stir to break them up real good and heat everything up in the pan. And we'll come back when we're heated up again. Got our rice noodles stirred in. Remember, the hotter you can burn this pot, the better. You see the Chinese restaurants, they have like a blowtorch underneath these pans, so keep them nice and hot. You can see our shrimp are pretty much cooked all the way through. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take our spice mixture that we got here. We're going to make sure it's all incorporated real good. And then we're going to sprinkle that evenly over our whole dish. And man, that's when you're going to start getting those smells. It's going to smell wonderful. There we go. So you're going to continue to stir fry this, and as you cook it, the moisture is going to cook out of this pan, and that's what our chicken stock's for, but we don't need it quite yet. And then you're going to add the chicken stock as needed to maintain the moisture in your dish. Wow, the smells coming out of this pan are just amazing. So as you stir this, you're going to see everything get coated kind of evenly. It's going to take a couple minutes in the pan stirring for your colors to even out. Wow, that curry just smells amazing. So glad I know how to make this dish at home now, in case we get snowed in or something. I can still get my noodle fix. Okay, things are starting to dry out just a little bit. So let's add, I don't know, about a good tablespoon of our chicken stock. And that's just chicken juice out of a rotisserie chicken we purchased at the store. But works just fine for chicken stock. Alright, looking good. So the next thing we need to add is a half a teaspoon of sesame oil and 1.5 teaspoons of soy sauce. So we'll get that in there. Half a teaspoon of sesame oil. 1.5 teaspoons of soy sauce. And then now we're going to add our 2 types of onion to the pan. Our scallions and our red onion. And we're going to let those warm up. We're going to have, they won't be crunchy, but they will still be kind of firm. Okay, I think we're going to add the rest of our chicken stock. A lot of our moisture is gone. If you don't have chicken stock, you can just use water. Water works fine for adding moisture. So we're going to toss this around until our onions break down just a hair, not a lot, just to where they're not crunchy. They just started to sweat. And then we'll throw our eggs back in right at the last minute. Alright, the onions have literally been in there only about a minute, and they're good. So let's throw our eggs in, we'll stir those in, and I'm going to turn the fire off. There we are, folks. Doesn't that look fantastic? That's beauty in a bowl right there. We're going to dig in. Alright, super good meal. We're going to really enjoy this. Now, this is kind of a spicy dish, so if you're not heavy into spice, that's not a problem. Just remove like the red pepper flakes, and you could even cut back on the curry, because this curry's got a little bit of a bite too. But we like it nice and spicy. Kelly's not here for dinner tonight, so we spiced it up good. So, hope you enjoyed it. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you next time. Come back and see us here on Markelly Farm. where the content is always free.